I am deeply aware of this great inheritance and of the duties and heavy responsibilities of sovereignty, which have now passed to me.
When people think about the British royal family, the first faces that come to mind are usually King Charles, Prince William, or even the late Queen Elizabeth. But behind the public image and the ceremonies, there's a relationship that has quietly shaped the heart of the modern monarchy. The bond between King Charles and his sister, Princess Anne. Their story isn't just about crowns and titles. It's about two siblings who grew up under the same roof, carried the same expectations, and learned to handle the same pressures that come with being royal. But while their paths have been different, their connection has remained strong through every challenge and change in their lives. King Charles III and Princess Anne. The Princess Royal are only 2 years apart in age. Charles was born in 1948, and Anne followed in 1950. As children, they were each other's closest companions. Their parents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, were often away on royal tours and state visits, leaving the young Charles and Anne to rely on each other for company. Many people have said that those early years built a bond between them that was unshakable. Even though they lived in palaces, their childhood was far from easy. Their every move was watched, their behavior constantly judged, and their future already mapped out by duty and tradition. Charles was the quiet one, thoughtful, sensitive, and always aware of the enormous responsibility waiting for him. From a young age, he knew he was destined to become king one day. That knowledge brought pressure and loneliness. Princess Anne, on the other hand, was bold, fearless, and full of energy. She had a confidence that impressed even her father. Prince Philip was known for his tough and direct personality, and many people believe that he admired Anne's strength and independence more than Charles's sensitive nature. Some biographers have even written that Philip once joked Anne was the son he never had. That kind of remark hurt Charles deeply and may have created an early sense of competition between the siblings. Despite their different personalities, Charles and Anne shared a deep affection. They played together, rode horses, and attended royal events side by side. Their closeness helped them survive the strict environment of palace life. When they became adults, that bond evolved into something even stronger: mutual respect. While other members of the royal family sometimes struggled to understand King Charles's thoughtful and emotional approach, always seemed to know exactly how to speak to him. She's one of the few people who can tell him the truth without worrying about titles or royal rules. Throughout the years, Charles and Anne's relationship has had its share of ups and downs. They've disagreed about royal duties, about family matters, and about how the monarchy should move forward. Yet through every disagreement, they've remained loyal to each other. When Charles became king in 2022 after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, he showed just how much he trusted his sister. During his coronation, he gave her the ceremonial role of Gold Stick in Waiting. It's a title with deep history originally. The person who held it was responsible for protecting the monarch during important events. In modern times, it's mostly symbolic, but for King Charles, it was a public sign of love and respect. Behind closed doors, Anne has always been one of the king's most trusted advisors. She is known for her honesty, her practical thinking, and her ability to see things clearly. Whenever Charles feels overwhelmed by royal life, he often turns to her for advice. She gives him her opinion straight, even if it's not what he wants to hear, and he values that honesty more than anything else. While some might expect their relationship to be cold or formal, it's actually full of warmth and humor. The two share a teasing sense of fun that brings a human side to the royal family. There are many moments where their closeness shows in public. During one event at Buckingham Palace, Anne jokingly thanked her brother for letting her use the space, making the crowd laugh. On another occasion, she was accidentally introduced as the Prince of Wales and immediately replied, "There's a worry." These lighthearted moments reveal the genuine affection between them. They remind people that even royals, surrounded by protocol and cameras, can have real, sibling-style relationships. Filled with laughter and teasing, their lives have been filled with both joyful and heartbreaking moments. When their mother, Queen Elizabeth, passed away in 2022, Charles and Anne stood side by side at every public event, comforting each other through grief. Where words failed, their shared strength spoke louder. It's clear that they rely on one another not just as colleagues in duty, but as family. Princess Anne has earned the admiration of the public for her dedication and bravery. She's often described as the hardest-working royal in 2023. She carried out more royal engagements than anyone else, even the king himself. Her approach to life is straightforward. Get the job done. Don't complain. Never seek attention. She's also known for her courage. One of the most famous moments in her life came in 1974 when someone tried to kidnap her outside Buckingham Palace. The attacker demanded that she get out of her car, but Anne calmly replied, "Not bloody likely." That line became legendary, showing her fearless spirit. Even King Charles admires that side of her. He may be the king, but Anne is the family's rock, dependable, bold, and full of heart. Together, they form one of the strongest bonds in royal history, but their journey hasn't always been smooth. Like any siblings, Charles and Anne have had their moments of tension, competition, and even jealousy. In the 1970s, their lives became tangled in a web of royal romance that could easily have come from a soap opera. Princess Anne briefly dated an army officer named Andrew Parker Bowles. At the same time, Andrew was seeing another woman, Camilla Shand, who would one day become Queen Camilla. When Andrew's attention turned toward, and Camilla reportedly decided to get closer to Charles, perhaps out of jealousy or curiosity. In a twist of fate, both siblings found themselves connected to the same two people. Eventually, Andrew married Camilla, and years later, Charles's relationship with her became one of the most talked about royal stories of all time. Despite how awkward that situation must have been, Anne handled it with her usual grace. She didn't let personal matters affect her family relationships. Over time, both she and Charles moved on with their lives, focusing on their royal duties and personal happiness. This chapter in their history showed just how mature and disciplined both siblings could be when faced with personal drama. They understood that their actions reflected on the crown. They always put the monarchy above personal feelings. As the years went on, their roles within the royal family became more defined. Charles was the heir to the throne, the man preparing to one day be king. Anne was the hard worker, always active, always reliable. While Charles took on more symbolic and public duties, Anne preferred to keep her focus on the people, charities, communities, and causes close to her heart. She didn't need a crown to prove her value. Her actions spoke for her. Even now, she continues to attend hundreds of events each year, showing her belief in quiet, consistent service. Anne's strength and independence often remind people of her late father, Prince Philip. She inherited his directness and sense of humor, and she has never been afraid to speak her mind. In fact, she's one of the few royals who have openly disagreed with King Charles's modern vision for the monarchy. When Charles suggested a slimmed-down monarchy, meaning fewer working royals and a smaller public budget, and expressed doubt, she said that such an idea might have made sense years ago when there were more family members to share the work, but not now. Her honesty surprised many, but Charles didn't seem offended. He knows that Anne's opinions come from loyalty, not rebellion. Their disagreements show how much they respect each other's honesty. Even when they see things differently, still their relationship has faced difficult moments. One of the most talked about incidents happened in 1984 during the christening of Prince Harry. Anne refused to attend the ceremony, choosing instead to go hunting with her husband, Mark Phillips. Her absence raised eyebrows and fueled rumors of tension between her and Charles. When asked about it later, Anne said she had already made plans and didn't want to change them. Many people thought her answer was strange, but it was also very typical of her, practical, unbothered, and unwilling to fake emotion for appearances. Anne was also said to have had little patience for Princess Diana in the early days. Some reports claim she found Diana too emotional and attention-seeking, calling her a silly girl. Charles, on the other hand, often felt overshadowed by Diana's popularity. When they toured Australia together, the crowd's cheers for Diana made him feel invisible. Those years were full of emotional strain for the family, but through it all, Anne remained steady. She didn't involve herself in drama and kept her focus on her duties. Beyond their personal differences, Charles and Anne have always shared one powerful thing: their commitment to service. No matter what personal storms they faced, they never stopped working for the crown. That sense of duty is something their mother, Queen Elizabeth II, passed down to them both. After her death, Ness said she felt relief when the crown was removed from her mother's coffin, not because she wanted it gone, because she knew her mother's long life of service had finally come to rest. It was a moment that captured the true heart of royal duty: endless commitment, mixed with human emotion. When the BBC released the documentary, Charles III, The Coronation Year in 2023, it gave the public a rare look into the private side of the royal family. Viewers saw Charles and Queen Camilla preparing for the coronation, joking with staff, and sharing nervous laughter before the ceremony. In one touching scene, Princess Anne spoke about her mother's final days, showing deep emotion. She said her mother worried about dying at Balmoral Castle because of the complications it might cause. But Anne reassured her that she should rest where she felt most at peace. These moments reminded viewers that, beneath the crowns and ceremonies, the royal family are simply people, dealing with love, loss, and change like everyone else. Anne and Charles's relationship represents that human side of royalty better than almost anything else. They argue, laugh, disagree, and comfort each other. They are two people who've lived their entire lives under the world's spotlight, and yet managed to maintain something private and genuine between them. Whether standing together at state events or sharing quiet family moments, their connection shows through in every look and every smile. Outside of their own bond, King Charles's relationships with his other siblings, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, have been far more complicated. Prince Andrew, once known as the Queen's favorite son, has faced one of the most damaging scandals in modern royal history because of his association with Jeffrey Epstein. The controversy forced him to step back from royal duties, losing his military titles and public roles. The situation deeply affected the royal family's reputation. While Charles has kept his distance publicly, he still understands that family loyalty comes with responsibility. Princess Anne and Prince Edward have continued to quietly support their brother, maintaining unity even in difficult times. Prince Edward, the youngest of the four siblings, has followed a very different path. Early in life, he tried to follow the family's military tradition, but quickly realized it wasn't for him. Instead, he pursued work in television and later became one of the royal family's most reliable figures. His calm nature and dedication have earned him respect from both the public and the king. In 2023, King Charles rewarded Edward's loyalty by giving him the title Duke of Edinburgh, the same title once held by their father, Prince Philip. That gesture symbolized both love and trust, a recognition of Edward's steady service to the crown. Anne and Edward now serve as counselors of state, meaning they can act on behalf of the king when he's abroad or unwell. This decision was especially meaningful because it showed that King Charles values reliability and hard work more than status or seniority. Both Anne and Edward have been pillars of strength, helping to keep the royal family stable through times of change and uncertainty. Despite his complicated family dynamics, King Charles has tried to modernize the monarchy without breaking its traditions. That's where Anne's wisdom becomes vital. She knows the importance of change but also understands the need for balance. Their partnership, the king and the princess royal, keeps the royal family grounded. She's the voice that tells him when something might not work, and he's the vision that pushes the family into the future. Princess Anne's work ethic remains unmatched. In 2023 alone, she carried out nearly 500 royal engagements, visiting charities, opening hospitals, and meeting people across the world. She rarely seeks attention or headlines. She simply gets the job done. Her attitude reflects her belief that service isn't about fame, it's about consistency. People respect her for being genuine and hardworking, not for being glamorous. That difference is one reason why so many admire her. King Charles, meanwhile, has had to navigate both leadership and public scrutiny. His reign began with challenges from the loss of his mother to ongoing family issues and his own health concerns. Through it all, Anne has remained his steady anchor. She has been by his side at major state occasions, always supportive but never overshadowing him. Their teamwork represents the best of the monarchy. Tradition. With a human touch, the world often sees the royal family as distant or mysterious. But documentaries and interviews have shown another side, one filled with warmth, laughter, and even teasing. Charles and Anne have a way of making each other laugh that feels real, not rehearsed. They're proof that even in the most formal families, sibling love endures. Their bond, forged over decades, stands as a symbol of stability at a time when the monarchy faces constant change. Their story also reflects something larger: the passing of time and the weight of legacy. From their childhood under Queen Elizabeth's reign to their roles in today's modern monarchy, they've witnessed the evolution of a royal institution that must keep adapting to survive. They've seen public opinion shift, family scandals unfold, and generations rise and fall. Through it all, their shared sense of duty has kept them steady. Now, as King Charles continues his reign, Princess Anne remains his most trusted supporter. She's not just his sister, she's his advisor, his challenger, and his reminder of where they came from. Their relationship shows that even under the weight of the crown, family still matters most. The story of King Charles and Princess Anne is, at its heart, a story of love, respect, and shared endurance. They may not always agree, and their personalities may clash, but their loyalty has never wavered. They are the living link between the past and the future of the British monarchy, the steady heartbeat behind the crown. As viewers and readers, we often see the polished public images of the royals, the waving, the ceremonies, the speeches, but behind those moments are real people with emotions, memories, and family ties that run deep. King Charles and Princess Anne remind us that even among kings and queens, family is still what holds everything together. So what do you think? Does Princess Anne's honesty sometimes challenge her brother's authority, or does it make the monarchy stronger? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal stories told from the heart. As King Charles continues his reign, many royal watchers believe his partnership with Princess Anne is more important now than ever before. With the world changing rapidly, the monarchy faces pressure to remain modern and relevant. But Charles and Anne bring something that no other members of the royal family can: decades of experience. It's a deep sense of history and a shared understanding of what service truly means. They have seen the highs and lows of royal life from every angle. They've witnessed the praise, the criticism, and the constant balancing act between tradition and progress. Through all of it, they have learned that the only thing stronger than the institution itself is the family bond that supports it. What makes their relationship so remarkable is its honesty. In a family where politeness and formality often dominate, Charles and Anne's conversations are refreshingly real. Friends of the royals say that Anne never hesitates to tell her brother exactly what she thinks, even if it's uncomfortable. She once said in an interview that she doesn't believe in telling people what they want to hear, a principle that clearly applies to how she speaks to the king. Charles appreciates that honesty because it keeps him grounded. The throne can be a lonely place, surrounded by advisors and courtiers who often say yes to everything. But Anne is different. She speaks her mind, not to criticize, but to help. This trust between them has been built over a lifetime of shared experiences, not just the good moments, but the painful ones too. They both lived through the intense media attention of the 1980s and 1990s. When every move of the royal family was headline news, they endured the loss of family members, the strain of public duty, and the challenges of seeing their own children grow up under the same spotlight they once faced. In those difficult times, they found comfort in their shared understanding of what it means to be royal, the sacrifices it demands, and the discipline it requires. One of the lesser-known aspects of their bond is their shared love of the countryside. Both Charles and Anne are passionate about farming, horses, and the environment. Long before climate change became a major public issue, Charles spoke openly about protecting nature and living sustainably. Some people once laughed at his ideas about organic farming and talking to plants, but time has proven him right. Anne, too, has always been practical and connected to the land. She lives at Gatcombe Park, a country estate where she raises horses and enjoys the quiet life away from London's glamour. It's a world where she feels most herself, surrounded by animals, open fields, and hard work. Their mutual appreciation for nature has given them a shared space to relax and reconnect. When royal duties become overwhelming, both of them find peace in simple routines, long walks, quiet conversations, or visits to their childhood homes in Scotland. Balmoral Castle, where they spent many summers as children, holds a special place in their hearts. It's where they played, argued, and grew up together under the watchful eyes of their parents. Even today, returning there brings back memories of laughter, muddy boots, and the sense of freedom that was rare in their royal lives. Another layer of their relationship lies in how they've handled the next generation. Both Charles and Anne have children who've chosen different paths. Charles's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have followed dramatically separate journeys, one continuing royal duties, the other stepping away from them. Anne's children, Peter Phillips and Zara Tyndall, were raised without royal titles. This was Anne's choice, and one she made to give them normal lives. Charles has often admired her for that decision. It's one of the few times when a royal parent managed to give their children some protection from the pressures of royal fame, in private. Charles and Anne often talk about the importance of family unity. They both know that the monarchy's strength depends not just on ceremonies and crowns, but on the image of a united family. That's why Anne's presence beside her brother at official events means more than people realize. When she walks a few steps behind the king during parades or state occasions, it's not just protocol, it's a symbol of support. She's always there, quietly reinforcing his leadership. Observers often say that if King Charles represents thoughtfulness, Anne represents action. He is the dreamer, the planner, and the philosopher. She is the doer, the realist, and the executor. Together, they balance each other perfectly. Charles thinks about the long-term legacy of the monarchy, while Anne focuses on what needs to be done today. That mix of vision and practicality keeps the royal machine running smoothly. And yet, even with all their similarities, they remain different in temperament. Charles wears his heart on his sleeve, emotional, reflective, sometimes sensitive to criticism. Anne, meanwhile, keeps her feelings private. She doesn't like drama or sympathy. When something goes wrong, her response is simple: fix it and move on. That difference can sometimes cause friction, but it also makes their teamwork stronger. Where one hesitates, the other acts. Where one worries, the other reassures. In recent years, Anne's public popularity has quietly grown. While some younger royals attract attention for glamour or style, Anne's appeal comes from her hard work and authenticity. People see her as genuine, someone who shows up, does her job, and never complains. Her schedule is packed with engagements, yet she's known for her punctuality and professionalism. She often drives herself to events without a large entourage, chatting casually with the public. For many Britons, she represents the best qualities of the monarchy: dedication, modesty, and service without ego. King Charles deeply respects that. He knows his sister's approach connects the royal family to ordinary people in a way that few others can. Behind the palace walls, their dynamic is almost like that of two senior partners running a family business, one managing the vision, the other managing the work. Together, they make a formidable team. Looking ahead, their partnership may be crucial in helping the monarchy adapt to a new era. With fewer working royals, increasing media scrutiny, and a changing public attitude toward the crown, the institution faces challenges. But Charles and Anne have weathered storms before. They've seen criticism come and go, and they've learned that consistency always wins respect in the end. As long as they stand together, the royal family remains steady. Perhaps that's why so many people feel comforted by the sight of them side by side, whether at royal processions, memorials, or family gatherings. They represent continuity in a changing world. They are the living bridge between the past, the era of Queen Elizabeth, and the uncertain future of modern royalty. In many ways, the story of King Charles and Princess Anne is not just about royalty. It's a reminder of the power of family, resilience, and shared purpose. They show that even under the weight of a crown, what truly matters are the bonds we build and the values we hold. For them, it has never been about fame or fortune. It has always been about duty, honor, and love. And that is what makes their connection so extraordinary, not because they're royal, but because they are human. As time moves forward, King Charles and Princess Anne continue to show that the heart of the royal family is not just built on ceremony, but on real human connection. They have faced decades of change, challenges, and public judgment. Yet they've stood firm, not because they are perfect, but because they are resilient. In a world that constantly shifts, their steadiness feels like a comforting reminder that some things like loyalty, family, and duty never go out of style. Many people look at the royal family and see only crowns, palaces, and formal occasions. But behind the glitter lies a group of people who, just like anyone else, experience pain, pride, laughter, and regret. Charles and Anne's story reminds us that even those born into privilege must fight their own private battles. They've faced loss, criticism, and the impossible expectations that come with being symbols of tradition in a modern world. Yet they have always managed to rise above it, turning challenges into lessons. For King Charles, his life's journey has been one of patience and purpose. He waited longer than any other heir in British history to take the throne. Spending decades preparing for a role few could truly imagine, those years taught him humility and endurance. Now, as he serves as monarch, that long wait has given him wisdom, the kind that comes only from time and experience. Princess Anne has been by his side for nearly every chapter of that journey. Her consistency, her humor, and her strength have been among his greatest sources of comfort. What makes their story so powerful is that it isn't about perfection. It's about growth. They have had their differences, moments of tension, and misunderstandings, yet they always find a way back to mutual respect. That's what makes their bond real. It's not polished for cameras. It's built on trust and honesty that only siblings who've shared a lifetime could understand. As the monarchy steps into a new generation, with Prince William preparing for his future role, the example set by Charles and Anne will likely shape how the royal family continues. Their blend of tradition and quiet modernity proves that being royal is not about glamour, but about service, showing up, working hard, and standing together when it matters most in the years ahead. Historians may write about Charles's reign and Anne's lifelong devotion to duty. But beyond the official records and royal portraits, their true legacy will live in the values they upheld: compassion, dedication, and the courage to be themselves in a world that expects perfection. So when people ask what keeps the monarchy standing, the answer might be simpler than it seems. It's not the jewels or the crowns. It's the people and the relationships that hold them together. For King Charles and Princess Anne, that bond is more than family. It is friendship, loyalty, and the shared understanding that even in the most public lives, the greatest strength often comes from the quiet moments of support behind closed doors.